So, I was buying lunch in a sushi shop in Paris, and at the end of the transaction, after I'd already paid, and the man was handing me the bag, he turned to me and he said, "Vous voulez des baguettes?" Would you like some baguettes? And when you're new to a foreign country and a foreign language, often when you don't understand something, there's context. And you can figure out exactly what's being said. For example, when they're asking you in a supermarket if you want a plastic bag, they're holding up the plastic bag, you know? In this case, the man at the sushi shop had asked me if I wanted some baguettes. And I had no context. I couldn't figure it out why he was offering me bread with sushi. And I thought, is that how they do it in Paris? They eat sushi with baguettes. No context, had no idea what was going on. He looked at me, I looked at him. I wanted to say no, but I realized I was misunderstanding something when it dawned on both of us that I wasn't a French man. And he held up some chopsticks. And he said, "Des baguettes, des baguettes." And I said, "Ah, des baguettes." And I realized at that moment that the word in French for chopsticks is baguette. And it was just a little anecdote about the French language that once you know, you know. But it got me thinking at the time, how many things does baguette actually mean? So what I did at the time is I looked it up. I found out that in the official, or the popular French dictionary, Larousse, that the word baguette has 15 different definitions. And at the time I turned it into a blog post that over the years has turned into one of the most popular blog posts I've ever done, but I don't think I ever mentioned it on this podcast. So for today's short episode of the Eiffel Tower, I'm going to tell you a few things that this word means, and hopefully this will be a little language oddity that you can impress your French friends by knowing. And it'll end with a little bit of a tongue twister with the help from a French friend. So let's get into it. Baguette. Hopefully everybody already knows the main definition of baguette, which weirdly in Larousse, the French dictionary, is the fourth definition, where they write, it's all in French but I'm translating, bread of around 300 grams in a very stretched out form. Very precise there. That's what a baguette is, how we all know it. But some of the other definitions, a little baton. A little baton as in what an orchestra leader would have. A drumstick, for example, as in what a drummer would use to bang on the drums. That's just called a baguette. A magic wand is a baguette magique. So a magic wand, a drumstick, a baton, a stick of incense is a baguette d'encens. And there's a lot more. There's a lot of phrases too. Now, I ran all of these past my French friend, who is incidentally Véro from France with Véro, and I made sure that these are things that people actually say. In fact, I called her and I said, when I say baguette, tell me all the definitions. And she's like, well, there's only bread. And I said, are you sure? And she had to think about it. And then she was like, well, there's also like a drummer's stick. And, well, yes, there's also chopsticks. And I started reading through them. And she's like, well, yes. And she'd never even thought about it, that this word can mean so many things. So this next one might be a bit more of an old-fashioned French thing, but you could say that someone had very straight hair. You would say, elle a les cheveux raides comme des baguettes. You can talk about someone's legs as being baguettes. T'as vu mes baguettes? Have you seen my legs? You can say that if someone leads with an iron fist, they mener à la baguette. Mener à la baguette. So someone leads with a stick, kind of. There are other things too, like a divining rod, or the stick you use to find water, would be called une baguette de sourcier. And lastly, you could say as if by magic, which would be d'un coup de baguette magique. There are also, I told you there's 15. I gave you about 10 definitions and phrases there, but there's 15 definitions and about 6 phrases. I'll share the link in the show notes. But all sorts of anything that's long and straight, parts of cars, parts of ornamental design things, and of course, chopsticks. So when I finished talking to Vero, I said, Vero, if I text you a sentence in English, Would you mind sharing it in French to me right now?" And she said, "I'll have a go." So the sentence I texted her, it sounds like a bad poem, like one of those bad romantic kind of poems. And the line is, I'll try and do it nice in English because she did it very well in French. "She had straight hair and long legs, and she ate her baguettes with chopsticks." And this is how it sounds in French.
Elle avait des cheveux raides comme des baguettes et des jambes comme des baguettes, et elle mangeait ses baguettes avec des baguettes.
I responded, "That is amazing. It sounds like Baudelaire." And she said, "A little more cheerful than old Baudelaire, I think." That's France with Vero helping out as usual. And just a bit of a fun language fact on a short episode of the Eiffel Tower to help you impress your French friends. Now, this show is brought to you for the whole season by My Private Paris. And I just want to finish by talking about them for a second. If you're coming to Paris, if you're coming to France and you want to do a trip anywhere, these are the guys that you should talk to, especially day trips. As if you've been listening for a while, you may have heard that we're going to be doing day trips together, them and me, once a month for the whole season. We've already done Champagne. Bertrand really wants to take me to Versailles, Chantilly, or Fontainebleau next. He has visions of going to Normandy, Lyon, and Bordeaux. And I think plenty of things in between. I think it could be cool if we do it in a way that you guys can vote on where you want to see us go. But the point is that if you're thinking to do day trips, if you're thinking to do tours of Paris, My Private Paris is where you should go. They really know what they're doing. In fact, when I went on the day trip to Champagne with Bertrand, he was talking about some of the more extreme requests that he'd got from customers. And I'm not sure if it's my place to share them, but the point is, if you ask for something a little bit out there, they can probably do it. I think their main thing, though, day trips out of Paris and tours, walking tours, car tours, anything inside of Paris. If your time is important to you and you want to be shown Paris properly, I recommend My Private Paris. So myprivateparis.com, I'll link to them in the show notes. They're sponsoring this whole season, so I'm really hoping to send some Eiffel Tower listeners their way. Once again, link in the show note, My Private Paris, and you'll be hearing more from them really soon. My name is Oliver G. This is the Eiffel Tower. Thank you for listening to this short episode, and I'll be back again next week with another one.